This is my kitty. So I thought that I would share a little bit about my new painting, Patchwork, and pull a tarot card around the themes of the piece and put that out there. See if that offers anything to us collectively. So, to begin, this piece is called Patchwork and it's a self-portrait. It includes pieces of fabric and paper and painted canvas. I guess overall this piece looks at dichotomy. You have awake and asleep, and almost in some ways effort and non-effort. And a question that I'm often thinking about is, how much do I need to give, and how much do I need to work or try or intend, and how much do I just need to let go of and give it up and trust, whatever that means. It's that play between, it's action and inaction, but more than that, it's almost your mentality. It's free will or fate, it's sometimes I think we do a lot of work, and maybe we don't always have to do as much work as we think we do. And yet at the same time, there's a self-responsibility to be clear, to intend, and to work. So hopefully those things are inspired, but nonetheless, I'm often playing between that dichotomy in my own life, and this is a moment of that. You'll see the word freedom, and I think I also play between, you'll also see can't do without you repeated, and then crossed out, and it says I give it all up. And yeah, that sense of also commitment and responsibility and showing up for others, and doing that from a place of real love, versus sometimes doing exactly what you need to do in the way that you need to do it to be free. And I think we play that out in interesting ways collectively when we look at our responsibility to one another and our need for one another, and that tension between just different people trying to get along, I guess. So yeah, we're piecing it together, it's a patchwork here. And I was trying to think if there's anything else she wants to say, which interestingly made me think of the throat area, which is the color green, which is the heart chakra. So I'm also wanting to say, speaking and communicating with love. I think that is part of clarity and listening and speaking in that way. The red makes me think of the Wizard of Oz. The Patchwork Girl is actually from the Wizard of Oz. Actually there's another book called Patchwork Girl. There's a whole series from Frank Baum. But I've always felt very close to that story, myth, journey, and I've kind of paralleled my own life to Dorothy in different ways. My first memory is actually watching The Wizard of Oz when I was 5. And there are a lot of layers to that story and a lot of lenses that you can look through that I really resonate with. And I'm not sure about the narrative of the Patchwork Girl itself. In fact, I looked it up, and there's part of me that wonders why that's what was resonating. I do remember reading it as a young girl and feeling moved by it. I don't know fully if it's PC today and what it was really fully saying, but I think just that concept of the patchwork girl, of the different pieces being pulled together, is an aspect of identity that we all go through, and pieces break and they're patched and new patterns form. And this is also just literally a medium and a method that I'm interested in right now. I just got my sewing machine to work, and I'm looking at fabric and starting to sew on canvas and playing with sewing some things on clothes. And so there's this way of patching these pieces, these creative elements together, and I think she embodies that, and I think that's also a metaphor around identity. So yeah, we'll go with that. For the tarot, I'm using the She-Wolf Tarot. You can find this creator on Instagram, Serpent Fire. And I want to look at the theme, this dichotomy between how much we give and how much we let go, and that play between effort and complete surrender. So I'm just going to pull one card, and this will be collectively how we can integrate that dichotomy. Interesting. So I pulled the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is actually a card that has sorrow. It's, you know, the cups have spilled, and there's grief that needs to be acknowledged and needs to be felt. And so, in some ways, thinking of this efforting and non-efforting, I almost want to say it's like we can't spiritually bypass, like we can't force ourselves to get over things when we're not over them. We can't force ourselves to intend our mind to think a certain way, to move forward if we haven't processed what we need to process. And so there has to be a real acknowledgement of the cup spilling, of the grief, of the trauma, of the pain, of whatever just needs to be looked at in order to really move forward. And so when I think of this play between effort and, you know, I mean, just the words here, can't do without you, and then I give it all up. It's sometimes the ways that we even try to force our connection with another, or getting over someone, or like moving towards someone, all those, that effort, if it's not actually where you are, you have to go through the spilled cups in order to move through that side. And I also think that in those spaces of grief, allow for the surrender. And there's that interesting play of sometimes when things are the most difficult is actually when you give up your idea of control and surrender in a way that maybe, hi Pele, maybe something else better shows up. That's my kitty Pele. I don't know if I said that already, but I love her. So yeah, so let me just take all that info and synthesize to this. If we're looking at this play, this dichotomy between efforting and doing, that awake energy, and letting go, surrendering, that more sleep, dreamlike energy. With the Five of Cups, I want to say whatever needs to actually be processed and felt needs to be done, and you can't really pretend that away or intend that away or just move through it. So maybe in those moments the answer is to surrender, to give it up. And maybe when things are feeling good, you've moved through that sorrow, difficulty, then the intention can appear more clearly and more naturally, because the space has been made for and intention in that to build and grow. So let's not spiritually bypass real feelings. Let's collectively heal. And we can do that with intention, and we can let go. We can surrender. So hopefully that was helpful or interesting. If you have any questions about tarot or my practice, please feel free to reach out, DM me, or send a comment. Thanks for watching.